What's going on? This is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. We are on episode 18 here. Some things we're going to be talking about is the Olympics, MLP, Major League Pickleball, UFC, Lea Jansen's story, kind of how we met, how her results have been over the last couple months. She's been balling. Give you guys an update on the YouTube channel, the Fundamental Series, camp stuff. We have 2022's camp schedule that's going to be posted August 1st, so super exciting. Leading up to Nationals. A lot of people are asking if you are vaccinated, so we're going to dive into that. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on to the McGuffin Pickleball Club. As you know, hottest podcast, hottest instructional videos, and best content in pickleball. If you see somebody new off to my left, got my girl Lea Jansen in the booth with me. Lea, what's up?
How's it going?
What's up, girl? We were actually just taking a little sneak peek of the APP Bend tournament. Love me some Bend, Oregon. I'm kind of sad that I'm not there, but also glad that I'm not because we got we got a long 3 months coming up. Got eight tournaments over 12 weeks. It's gonna be a long couple months. It's been nice being home the last month or so. Been working out with this girl the last couple weeks, so. Always nice to come home and recharge the batteries, and Lea lives in Spokane, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I live about 45 minutes away from here. So it's a short little drive over, and we train together pretty much every morning.
We'll jump in and skip. Yeah, we actually just found some new courts this morning.
Yeah.
That are much nicer than the courts that we've been playing at. So excited about that. It's got a nice little backdrop. Shows the beauty of North Idaho. Shows all the mountains and the beautiful pine trees and all the greenery. We play at this other park called Stub Myers, and I'm not gonna lie, the courts are a little bit slanted, and it's just a little whack. The courts are a little slanted.
Fence is too high.
The fence is too high. The stupid ball rows underneath the fence. There's trees all over, so you can't see the backdrop. You can't see the beauty of the mountains and the pine trees and all that. So super excited about this new location. This episode is powered by Bemer Therapy. Really appreciate Bemer Therapy. I've been with Bemer for the last 2 years now, and it's been my ultimate piece of recovery. I obviously use their medical device, and I use the B pad. I'm not much of a B mat guy. I like using the B pad, so I use the B pad on my upper extremities. And then there's two outlets. So I also use the second outlet with a second B pad and use it on my legs. But I make sure to use my Bemer morning and night for about 20 minutes, and does a good job of pushing out inflammation, a good job of pushing out lactic acid. And I think every athlete out there is looking for that little edge of feeling a little fresher. Having that little added 10% edge, and I really feel like with Bemer, over long, suffocating weekends of playing matches and playing PPA events, it's nice to wake up in the morning, being 31 years old, feeling a little fresher, and doing it the right way, and having a recovery device that puts me in a position where I can wake up and I feel like my body's not all beat up, and I feel fully refreshed, and obviously helps me sleep, helps with mental clarity. But if you guys have not checked out Bemer Therapy, please go to my website and go to TysonMcGuffin.com, go to my sponsor page, and click on the Bemer Therapy logo to look at any information pertaining to Bemer. I don't believe Lea's tried Bemer. I probably should get her on it.
No, I need to get on some kind of recovery stuff, actually. I don't do anything.
I can't believe that. So a couple other things that I do for recovery. I like to do cryotherapy. To be honest, I probably get more out of an ice bath than cryotherapy, but the suffocating feeling of throwing yourself in an ice bath is it's just a little tough to swallow. So I make sure that I wear underwear. I also make sure that I put socks on my hands, and I will submerge myself to about my neck and hang out in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. I don't do ice baths when I'm home because I don't get as sore as when I'm on the road and playing tournaments. It's funny how much more you get sore when you're feeling pressure compared to just being at home and practicing, right?
Right.
So I always feel like during tournaments I'm that much more sore. So the ice baths are necessary. And actually, I'm going to throw Frank Anthony a little shout out, because something Frank Anthony informed me of, which is brilliant, is he uses DoorDash, as with myself. Not much of an Uber Eats guy. So he uses DoorDash, and what he'll do is he'll DoorDash. You can order from 7-Eleven, you can order from Walmart, any grocery store. So he would order 80 pounds of ice and make the DoorDash person would make them deliver the ice. 80 pounds of ice. So now, to this day, I kid you not, I used to go buy the ice, but now I use the convenience of DoorDash. Now, if I'm staying like in the city, I'm playing a tournament and I'm up like 20 or 30 floors, I'm usually a nice guy, and when the DoorDash person arrives in the parking lot or arrives at my condo or wherever I'm staying, I will go downstairs and I will help the person. But so I actually use that method now, and I will get the ice delivered. So that's the best way to do it, because carrying 80 pounds of ice by yourself sucks. It does. And it seems like to actually get a really good ice bath and to keep that sucker cold, you kind of need anywhere from like 60 or 80 pounds. But thank you, Frank Anthony. So some other things that I use for recovery is I always do a couple IVs. I'm going to do an IV tomorrow and Saturday, and then I leave for Newport Sunday. I teach a camp with Dan Roditi on Monday, and then we'll train Tuesday, Wednesday. And then next week, I will also get an IV. I usually do two the week before, and then 2 the week leading up. So I'll kind of double up each week. Granted, I tend to sweat much more than others. Lea obviously sees me sweat every day. I'm just a drenched mess on the court. And so with that being said, I really feel like I need those added fluids in me. I've kind of cramped my whole life and dealt with cramping, so it's a lot easier if I can get the right fluids in me. And I usually get the it's called the Myers cocktail. That's the IV bag that I'll get. But I'm actually partnered in with a company in town called Vitamin Drip CDA, and I will go in there and get 4 to 6 IVs a month. So appreciate those guys. But anyhow, we need to get Lea on some recovery stuff. Even though she's been kicking ass on the court, I'm gonna make sure to take care of her. I actually have a bunch of recovery stuff that I can send her home with today. It's
like a full-time job.
It is. It is. So let's see here. So the Olympics has been going on. Been staying up every night watching the tennis. Also been dabbling in some gymnastics, and Lea said she was watching some badminton last night. Yeah, I mean, badminton probably translates pretty well to pickleball, I would think. The footwork is sick. And the hands and the touch, I was pretty impressed. It was pretty fun to watch. Just like all the other events, though. Yeah, no. I mean, there's the level of talent at the Olympics this year, every year, or I guess every 4 years. Always seems like it's at the ultimate best. Usain Bolt had a nice quote and said that like essentially he trains 4 or 5 years for a 12-second race. And he mentioned that it's funny how people get in the gym or people try something, and if they don't see results or if they don't see success within 3 months, that they stop doing it, whether it's working out or trying something new or playing pickleball or anything like that. So it gives you a little perspective. These athletes have to work their butts off, and they can only do it every 4 years. So very cool, and obviously very cool. And I'm sure they're very fortunate to be representing their country. Now, if we could play pickleball in the Olympics someday, would be pretty cool. Looks like there's a lot of random sporting events in the Olympics, and I know obviously
skateboarding,
3-on-3 basketball. I mean, what is all this? So it'd be nice if they could, get a push there. Yeah, get a little push there and show a little respect for pickleball worldwide. But so I'm hoping for that. I know there's been lots of talk on the forum and other pickleball forums nationwide about criticizing other sports that shouldn't be in the Olympics and trying to stand tall for pickleball. But I would assume that's only a matter of time. Yeah, let's hope. But okay, so Major League Pickleball. I actually don't know a lot about this. I've read the email. I've kind of skimmed over it. This was all very late as far as being published. I actually have a camp that weekend that MLP is supposed to go on, and I already have like 26 campers signed up. So I'm a little uncertain if I'm going to play, but you know, if there's good publicity for the players, good marketing, and financially it made sense, I may have to play the event. But Lea, if you don't mind, just kind of filling us in a little bit about Major League Pickleball.
Yeah, so I am playing the event. I'm pretty excited for it. So I don't know too much. I just, from what I've been told, there's going to be a draft pretty soon. I heard it was supposed to be at the Takea Showcase in August, but I don't think we're doing it then anymore. And basically we have some team owners who are going to draft us, and you get paid a certain appearance fee for the top 16 male and women's players. And also, you win certain money per match. There's teaching opportunities as well, and what were you saying? There's some equity.
I think there's like 3% equity for the team that wins, and they all split that up. I don't know how that looks, but something I do know is that Steve Kuhn, one of the guys that's kind of leading the charge at Dreamland, Dreamland, which is a gigantic adult playground in somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's in Austin, Texas, but I'm not certain.
A little bit outside.
But Rob Nunnery, Deckel Barr, Vivian, and what's Vivian's sister's name? Sarah David just moved there. They are teaching there. They have lots going on. Looks like I've seen Deckel playing some putt-putt. I've seen him at a concert there. They have music events.
Seems like a cool place.
I mean, that place is rocking and rolling. So super excited for those guys. But I would assume there's going to be more buzz and more events coming out of that facility. I know Duper is an extra kind of arm added to Dreamland. But so
I think
super exciting.
I think it would be kind of cool seeing different matchups. You know, it's kind of like World Team Tennis, and then also I heard the players are going to be mic'd up, so that's kind of a cool little added spin as well.
Yeah. Time for players to show their personalities. I like it. Okay, the UFC fights. Watched the fights this last Saturday. Probably the most entertaining fight to watch was the main card fight. TJ Dillashaw fought Sangrid, and it was insane. Dillashaw has been off for the last year because he ended up testing for steroids, and so he was banned for a year, and obviously took a bunch of heat for finding that substance in his blood. But the guy worked his butt off for a year, came back in, fought Sangrid, and Sangrid is like number 2 in the division. Anyhow, it was 25 minutes of chaos, and Dillashaw got the crap beat out of him, but kept moving forward. And the guy is beyond durable. And I actually thought Sangrid won, but from the scorecards and by the judges, they gave the fight to Dillashaw, I would assume because of his forward pressure. But anyhow, 6 fight comes to show that even though he is a veteran and he took a year off, he's still got plenty in the tank. And talk about a guy with heart. He got blasted the whole fight and just kept moving forward. He was all beat up. And the crazy thing was that Sangrid didn't have a cut on his face. His face looked totally fine. He fought for 25 minutes, and after the fight, he didn't really look like he got touched. But so it's kind of interesting how the judges score all that stuff. And I know they're trying to figure out how to score matches correctly, and and what's tough about UFC is that it's all mixed martial arts, so it's grappling, takedowns, submissions. It's not just kickboxing and boxing. So, but fun fight to watch. I'm gonna be watching the fights this weekend as well. But YouTube channel, we are up to about 5,900 subscribers.
Nice.
I'm hoping to get hopefully maybe 10,000 subscribers come October 1st. Make sure to tell your kids, tell your grandma, tell anybody that you know to subscribe to the McGuffin Pickleball Club, because I'm going to get that YouTube belt, as I've been saying for a long time. I'm going to take it away from Primetime Pickleball. Jordan's going to have nothing on me.
How much do they have?
Jordan's got about 50,000.
There you go.
The guy's been doing it since he was in a diaper, though. I'm just kidding. No, he's been doing it for the last. He was like the first, the first stud to really get content rolling out. Some other people that you should check out that have great content on their YouTube channel: Simone Jardim, Mark Renison, Into Pickleball, Soccer TV, Primetime Pickleball, obviously. Let's see who else. If you guys want to watch, obviously, live streams, you can check out PPA's YouTube page, check out APP's YouTube page. The APP does some fun little spin-offs. They have, what is it? Cooking with Adam and Cooking
They
with
haven't been making any episodes in a while. They did a few and then they stopped.
Got it. But it was Cooking with Adam and Corinne.
Learned some good stuff.
Dating with Lauren. Dave Fleming's little podcast.
Oh yeah, like get to the point.
Get to the point.
Breaking.
Yep.
Some breakdown analysis.
Yeah. Some breakdown analysis like that. Some other podcasts that I listen to. Definitely check out the Freestyle Boys. Got lots of good stuff on there. They're doing episodes each week. Around the Post with Johnny Pick, and Mr. Yates. As far as I know, I don't think there's too many other podcasts taking place in pickleball. I know there's a lot more audio podcasts, but as far as viewing, I believe the only two podcasts that are, I guess, on camera is Around the Post and this one right here. We just posted week's 8 fundamental series this last week on roll volleys. We've got lots of good views. And we are in our very last week, week 9. I'm going to be posting week's 9 fundamental series this Sunday. It's going to be punch volleys. Keep in mind that if you guys want to take a look at the whole series, week 1 to week 5 was building a soft game. Week 6 to week 9 is building weapons. And I made sure in each week's videos to do level-specific drills and games. So all you 2530 or 3540 or wannabe 40 pluses, I'm just kidding. If you guys, I did a very detailed, organized job of making sure that each video obviously has level-specific drills and games. So any level-based player can go to the appropriate video and look at the appropriate drills and games. Also, too, make sure you guys, if you want to comment, if you want to ask me questions on there, if there's something I'm very consistent at, I'm very consistent with commenting back on my YouTube channel. And secondly, I'm also very consistent at commenting back on all my social media platforms. So if you guys ever want to get a hold of me, you can find me on those, or if you follow me, and if you want to touch base, I will always comment back. So find me. Let's see here. Camp schedule for 2022 is being posted August 1st. I will be leading 15 two-day camps next year. K-Mac will be leading about 20. And I think Johnny Sperling is going to be leading about 10. So yeah, that probably gives us, about 50 camps for 2022. We are partnered in with Chicken and Pickle, partnered in with PPA, partnered in with Discovery, and we're running, I believe, 1 or 2 camps out of Sandals, 1 in Jamaica, 1 in Turks and Caicos. Haven't quite finalized those yet, but that is definitely in the works. And then as far as registration, we will have dates and everything listed on my website come August 1st. But as far as getting registered, we will have everything available so you can register for a camp in 2022 come September 1st. So just give us a month on that. Got my website guy working on that stuff. Okay, so I think this is going to be very insightful. Lea and I kind of have a fun story about how we met, kind of how we got going. She moved to my area over quarantine, left Grand Rapids. By the way, love me some Grand Rapids, Michigan. Always love going back there, even though I don't drink beer anymore. I can still dream about those breweries and drinking those hazy IPAs, those triple hazy IPAs. Anyhow, Lea, if you don't mind, just telling the viewers about kind of tell them about your sisters, your dad, kind of how you got started playing a little college tennis. Maybe how your sister got a wild card into the U.S. Open, played Mirza and Hingis first round. Is that what it was?
I can't quite tell you. I know they played a seed. It was like the 4 seed, and they played on one of the main courts. But yeah, so we grew up in kind of the same area-ish. My dad was Tyson's coach growing up, so Tyson spent a lot of time in Spokane with my family during the summers, and that's kind of how we got to know each other. We practiced together, and we went on a few. You traveled with us to a few tournaments, right?
I needed some general direction when I was in high school, and you know I was
Andy Jansen.
Yeah, I was the youngest of 7, and I'm not gonna lie, my parents stopped parenting me at a pretty young age, and so by the time I got to high school, I just needed a little guidance and a little push, and so. So with that being said, yes, it definitely straightened me out, being able to stay with the Jansens. And Andy was extremely tough on the girls, and was definitely tough on me. But yeah. Yeah.
So then life just kind of happened. So I went on to play tennis for a few years at Washington State. My sister, actually Maya, went on to play at Alabama, where she won 2 back-to-back NCAA.
Freshman, sophomore. Or
sophomore, junior NCAA doubles titles, and then she played her last year at Cal Berkeley, where she met her now fiance.
Who?
Andre Gorison, and actually he just got to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon in doubles. Yeah, so that was his first big result. So it's pretty cool to see. He's been on tour for about 3 to 4 years, and he had a big breakthrough, and now he's top 65.
Yeah. So now he'll be qualified into all the Grand Slams and stuff. And
yeah. So so I mean, I actually kind of started playing pickleball because Tyson was pretty prevalent on social media. My dad suggested it to me, and you hooked me up with Andrea Coop out
let's find the timeline on that. When was that, by the way?
It was it was in May or something of 2019.
Yeah. It was at Beer City. And I didn't even know that you were going to be at the venue, right? And I just saw you there playing. I'm pretty sure I had my shirt off, as always.
Yeah, that was the first time
it was all like a practice day.
Like 10 years probably.
Yeah, and you were using just a piece of shit Wilson Big 5 paddle, and I'm pretty sure I gave you one of my Invictus.
Yeah, that first tournament I actually was like switching out like five different paddles at a time. Yeah, so
and if you don't, just the viewers, and no disrespect to Morgan Evans at all, but
I actually really do like Morgan.
No, and just tell us the story, because that happened at that tournament, correct?
Yes. So actually, so I just kind of I played my first tournament, and I was playing pro singles, and I had played mixed pro doubles previously the day before.
With who?
With
dipshit.
With Zane Affleck.
Complete dipshit. He treated you awful.
And so
Leia didn't even see a ball. The guy was playing the whole court.
I had just started playing, so he just played the whole entire court, and obviously, So I had played against Morgan and his partner at the time, and I forget who he was maybe playing with, and we lost. So to Morgan, I just sucked. And I was playing singles that day, and I had gone. For me, I was doing okay because I was still in the draw. Right. Some matches in, and I was about to play Anna Lee Waters. So I walked up to Tyson. I was like, "Hey, I'm about to play this 12-year-old. What do I do?" Like, I can't. In my mind, I'm thinking, "There's no way I'm losing to a 12-year-old." And Morgan Evans just tells me, "Gosh, I even forget." He just tells me, like, "Oh, you're just gonna get killed." Right. No way you will ever even want a point or something along those lines.
I think he said it doesn't matter about the advice; you're just gonna lose.
Yeah,
it was Morgan being funny to a certain degree, but obviously just throwing a jab.
Yeah. So I did lose, but he actually told me he didn't realize that I didn't suck that
And
bad.
you lost 13-15, and that
Yeah,
was
it
the
was-
match to get into the bronze.
Yeah. So actually, that was the match that inspired me today to keep playing. So after playing in the Beer City Open, I kind of caught the bug and never really looked back.
Yeah, and then she practiced a ton with Andrea Coop in Grand Rapids. Got rid of an old fling, moved home, and and we over quarantine.
It's been like a good
Over quarantine, kind
year
of
now.
took her on my wing as a little project, and no, we played a bunch. We played probably 4 or 5 days a week, and you were still trying to figure things out, and kaboom, her game skyrocketed, and as you have seen over the last couple months, her game has really skyrocketed, and she is on the path of greatness, playing it extremely well in singles. She won her first Triple Crown at Indy APP event. When was that? Beginning of June?
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime ago, but
just
beginning of June.
Just give us some stats on some, and I mean, and no disrespect to the APP at all. You've obviously been playing very well with the PP events, but just give us your stats with playing the APP events. I mean, you've been winning everything, correct?
As of recently, for sure. I've had some good success in singles there and in doubles, and most recently my mixed game has started to kind of come full circle. That was kind of like the last event I was I'm still working on, but it's been kind of the last event that I've seen an increase in.
Right,
so
for sure.
it's been nice. It's nice to go to those things and kind of it's been great to get the reps this year and kind of see my game evolve.
Yeah. And obviously you've been very dominant with the APP. Looks like you're playing most PPAs next year and not playing as many APPs. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's been nice. I'm planning on just kind of not so much moving on, but I'm just gonna strictly kind of play with the PPA next year, and I'm excited to kind of play against the world's best and see where I scale.
Moving on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
This is what it comes down to. And like I said, no disrespect to the APP, but I think as we all know, the PPA is heading in a different direction. Big shout out to the PPA. It sounds like things are coming together with ESPN. Looks like
Awesome.
The ESPN deal is going to be maybe ESPN2 next year. They're talking to Fox Sports. Lots of cool things happening with the PPA, and I wish the APP the best of luck. And I saw the APP schedule. It's stacked. There's a bunch.
It's a lot of tournaments.
There's a lot of tournaments
next year.
And looks like they're going outside the country, in which the PPA is not doing. So kudos to them. And I like Ken Herman and like what he's doing over there. And I think the Boxcar Productions.
I believe so.
Yeah, Boxcar Productions is doing a great job. Kyle Salenko is a cool dude. He was the first guy to introduce the dual camera, and the PPA pretty quickly picked that up. So, but yeah. So, and then Lea, if you don't mind, I know recently, we had a camp. I taught a camp in Newport. You helped me out with that camp. We met this gentleman named Jim. If you don't mind, kind of what has Jim done for you? And I know the Pickler just did an article about it. I think you talked to
Stacy.
Stacy, I love Stacy.
She's the nicest. She's great. She's a
sweetheart. But if you don't mind, just telling the viewers here just a little bit about what you were going through, and I would assume some of that stuff stems from childhood and growing up. Maybe with a dad as a coach or just a tougher coach in general, but just kind of tell me how all that developed.
So I mean, it's no secret, I think, to most people, and I would have been the first one to admit that I struggled with my emotions on the court, and I knew this kind of all my life, but now that pickleball became my full-time job, it definitely got in the way of my performance. So actually we met Jim at Tyson McGuffin camp at the beginning. That was right after the double
beginning
shootout.
of April.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
So I've just gone full-time pickleball in January, and that definitely raised the stakes. So I was experiencing, on top of already struggling with my emotions on court, there was that added pressure and anxiety that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, of just wanting to perform. And so actually it was Jim's wife, Kareem, who I was talking to, and she was, I don't know, I didn't even remember the conversation, but I just basically said, yeah, I'm going to pull out of some singles events because I'm just having too much anxiety on the court. I can't really perform how I know I can perform. And she actually told her husband, who is Dr. Jim Costello. And so there's been kind of like some misinterpretation of what Jim is. He's not really my mental coach. Yes, he has helped me mentally, but I can actually just kind of give it to you in his words. What he does is his focus is on nerve system performance. So because I was experiencing so much anxiety, it was actually neurological. It can stem from childhood, just from whatever, really. No one really knows. But I know for me, a lot of it was I've experienced performance anxiety and anxiety in general since whenever I can remember, and it affected me on court as well. So his focus is more on nerve system performance. So what we actually do is more physical rather than mental. It's a program he created to strengthen neural circuits or communication pathways within the brain that are responsible for coordinating movement, regulating mood and emotion, and with cognitive performance. His program essentially is functional training for the brain and body performance. So basically my nerve system was pretty just overloaded, and my brain, because of that, my brain could not properly function to my body and tell my body what to do out on the court, because I was essentially just too overloaded with anxiety. So through his program, kind of correlating my brain and my body together more enables me to not have anxiety out on the court and kind of like function under duress. So I don't really understand it. It's extremely scientific. Obviously, I don't really understand the brain like Jim does, but I don't really go to him and say, I'm feeling anxiety and think my way through it. I just kind of do physical movements that help me, if that makes sense.
That's cool.
So, for instance, like a lot of people ask me, like, what's your serve routine? It's actually just a reset that enables me to cross midline. So it enables my left and right brain to interact, and by making a figure eight, it enables both sides of my body to coordinate together.
That's cool.
Supposedly.
Yeah. And I've seen, as with a lot of people, but I've seen a huge jump just in your overall performance. When you're under pressure. I obviously grew up with you and saw you play tennis in juniors and I mean I was a ticking time bomb. You were a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Maybe times two.
Yeah.
I mean just like your ability to manage yourself and to manage your emotions and to stay even keel and to not get too high, not get too low. Over the last couple tournaments that I've been on the sideline trying to give my little 2 cents, I've seen a huge difference, and not only just in your emotions, but in the hand speed, in the confidence. You're walking much taller, and so it's funny how just being able to grasp onto something and feeling like it helps, how it opens the doors and just gives you that little added boost that you need. And obviously not only is it helping talent wise, but it's helping emotionally, physically, and it just seems like your ability to manage pressure in those tougher moments is much better, and you're thriving.
Oh yeah, it's I can't even believe it. It's just pretty much night and day between the way how I think, and there's like still emotion, obviously, like I'm still working on it, as we've seen.
It's always going to be there.
Yeah, it's always going to be there. And in an ideal world, so in an ideal world, I don't have that split second, but I can let him go now a lot better. So it's actually been great, and it's like been a great thing in pickleball. Had I not had met you in my childhood, gone and worked this camp with you, I would have never met Jim.
That's true, for sure.
And I would have, and it's not just something, I'm like the first athlete that Jim has ever worked with. He really just does it for special needs children and for people wanting to go to him with like ADHD, anxiety as well. So it's been something that has helped me overall in my life. So it's just been a great thing. And I can thank pickleball and everything else for it.
It's cool. And it's obviously helped your daily life as well.
Yeah.
Not only on the court, off the court.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be, I'm sure you can say, like, when you're in a good place off the court, it kind of can translate on the court.
Yeah, of course.
So, not all the time, but for me, I've found that.
Yeah, no, and I've said this multiple times. I always make sure that things are great with Meg and I. Things are good at home, because if things are good at home, then it's like serving well in tennis. If you're serving well in tennis, everything falls in place. If you and your wife are getting along and everything's good there, everything else falls in place. But they say some of the best athletes out there in the world have a quick reset. And just like what Lea mentioned, she's not grasping on to things as much or as long. If she does have a negative thought, it's in and out pretty quick. She's got her reset. And I know personally for myself, and I've mentioned this to my campers and some of my instructional videos. It's funny how one unforced error, if you let that kind of sit there and you let that one unforced error kind of eat away at you, how we could lead to about 10 unforced errors, and one game could lead to 2 games. And it's funny how you could let one ball determine your whole day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not realistic at all. You know? So having a quick reset, having something to go to, but find a routine that works for you. And as we see, every athlete is a complete nut. They all do it their own way.
Yeah.
Rafael Nadal has got his weird, meticulous routines. Something that I've mentioned, like something that works for me. And I always like to talk about this context in a way where it's got to work for you. My background, I grew up as a wrestler. My dad was a wrestling coach. I was the youngest of 7. I got beat up, by my brothers as a kid. So something that works for me if I'm not playing well, and this probably doesn't work for a lot of people, but I've got to tell myself some pretty awful things to kind of get myself going. Or like what I've mentioned, and I've told a lot of people this, I will snap a paddle over my right knee. I will do it very nicely, so nobody really sees it. I will put it in my bag. I'll grab a new paddle. I will come out. And it's funny how just washing that out, a quick reset, getting a new paddle, telling myself some awful things to kind of like bring the level up, or to put me in a position where I can see a little clear, or I can manage pressure better. You got to figure out what kind of makes sense for you, and you got to figure out what mindset to be in to be able to sustain a level at a long time, because it's not going to do you any good if you're at a high level for the first couple matches and then late in the day you just can't find it again. So I think having a mindset, having a routine that puts you in a position where you can sustain that level for a long time, that's what makes or breaks the people that end up on the podium that are very successful, is being able to keep the level high for a long period of time. And I think a lot of that comes with having a quick reset, not hanging on to things, because it's a long day. It's a long day.
It's a lot of balls.
You hit a lot of balls, and everybody puts their underwear on the same way. We're all going to miss drops. We're all going to miss serves. We're all going to miss returns. You can't hang on to that stuff. You got to focus on what you can control. And I would say that I probably fight better than most, and why is because of that idea. I do not hang on to things. I had a crummy 2 months in Feb and March, and I've mentioned this a couple times on the pod. I had a crummy tournament, Phoenix PPA, had a bad Tampa PPA event, and things were kind of weird with the family. I was like showing up to tournaments. I wasn't liking pickleball. I didn't want to compete. I was hanging on to things super long. I couldn't wash stuff out, and it just comes to show that certain things kind of have to line up. Certain things kind of have to line up in order for you to play well. Okay, so the the big heartbreakers of what's going on as of now, leading up to nationals, is all these, all these players traveled, went to a regional, qualified, punched their golden ticket, just to find out that they have to be vaccinated before they enter the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. So I don't really have a huge opinion about it. I'm going to tread lightly here. But something that I do know is, it is the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. It is probably the best tennis venue in the world. And as pickleball players, we should feel fortunate that
It's a huge step.
It's a huge step in the right direction. Correct. The fact that they're even considering, or the fact that we got that deal at the tennis garden and we're able to play there, it's huge. It's huge for the sport. I think, it really opens up the door. It's more of a spectator sport when you're at the tennis garden. Anyhow, long story short, the only insight that I have is that it's tough because these players, I know of players that are from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that traveled to Boise just to punch their ticket and got gold just to hear that they have to be vaccinated. And I just think that just the message got out a little late, and it doesn't do these players any good when they've already traveled. They've done the work. They played well, punched their golden ticket, and did all this planning just to find out that if they're not vaccinated, they have to be vaccinated. So. I think it's, I know that I'm going to get vaccinated. There's no way around it. I'm going to play nationals. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to go on social media. I'm not going to make a big stink about it. I understand there's a lot of people out there that like to share their opinion on their social media platforms, and that's great. I'm just not that guy. Well,
it's unfortunate. Rules are rules. I just hope we can all just I understand it's like a super hot topic and it's unfortunate, but it's the way life is. Life's not fair.
Life's not fair,
yeah.
Right? I mean, life.
I just hope I'm excited. I'm going to get vaccinated, and I'm excited to play there. I've only heard great things about it in the atmosphere, and I just hope we get to have it this year, and nothing makes it get canceled again.
Right. And I mean, being in Palm Springs in December, not too shabby.
No, I'll take it.
Doesn't get much better than that. Doesn't.
Super excited. I'm to play there, and for the La Quinta PPA, those are probably I'm super excited about November.
Is that kind of back to back? Oh no, November, right?
And then December.
Correct.
So.
Yep. November, December. November is PPA La Quinta, and then December is Nationals. Directly after Nationals, directly after I win Triple Crown and beat up on everybody, I'm actually we're a couple of my buddies and lots of family. We're all going to meet in Vegas and do Vegas for a couple days for my birthday. Super excited about that, and just excited to be. Be back at the tennis garden. I mean, there's nothing like that venue. I mean, it's sweet. It's kind of funny. The first year that they had nationals there, they opened up the whole venue, and they soon found out that there's not enough pickleball players to really fill that venue, and it was way too spread out and way too big. And so honestly, I didn't see a lot of the players just because the venue was so spread out. The following year, they made sure to cut it in half, which is smart. That way, it's a little bit tighter. I'm bringing the whole gang with me. So Meg and I are going to be getting vaccinated here pretty soon, and I believe my mother works for a medical clinic in Seattle, so she's already vaccinated. And my brothers, who work as school teachers, already have been vaccinated, so they will all be coming to root this guy on. But anyhow, super exciting, and even more exciting looking into 2022. There's 20 to 22 PPA events. It sounds like there's going to be 22 now. We can play a couple outside of that. Yep. And so yeah, I pretty much have my whole 2022 calendar put together: kids schedule, camp schedule, tournament schedule. We are having somebody move in a couple months to kind of help out. Super excited about that. So we'll have a little added help. There's no way that Meg and I could both do it with two babies on the road. yeah, Meg's 36 weeks right now and ready to pop this little man out. She's more than uncomfortable and ready to not be pregnant. She's been pregnant for 2 years, so she's sick of it. She's completely sick of it. So tournament schedule coming up. Just kind of give you guys an update. So the first tournament we have coming up is Showcase PPA. That starts next Thursday. So Lea and I next Thursday will be balling out, making the finals, and so it goes 3 in a row. It goes PPA Showcase in Newport, PPA Denver, and then TOC Tournament of Champions in lovely Brigham City, Utah. Can't wait to be back in Brigham, and then we have a week off. The following week is PPA New Mexico, which is Labor Day weekend in August, Labor Day weekend in September.
September's crazy.
Yep. Orlando PPA, then a week off. PPA Vegas, which is the last weekend in September. Yep. Following weekend is PPA Dallas, Texas Open. Then we have 2 weeks off, and then the PPA Vegas year-end championships. So. Boom,
I have
boom,
Hilton
boom.
Head before that too.
Oh.
Hilton Head's a 60K.
So okay, when is that?
I think the weekend right before the PPA Vegas.
Got it. 15,
That's a
16,
busy end of the year.
It is. Yeah, it's gonna be a packed
Grind.
schedule. It's gonna be a grind. So making sure that we're peaking at the right time. Like I said, it's been nice to recharge the batteries and be home for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I've been getting my 2-hour deep tissue massage every Sunday with Meg. She gets her 2-hour, I get my 2-hour. So we've been getting pampered. But yeah, exciting stuff coming up. Lots of tournaments. It's going to be lots of coverage on ESPN3 and on Selkirk TV. So make sure you guys check out those platforms. All of my instructional videos and my podcast is on Selkirk TV as well. So if you guys want to check out anything in pickleball, Selkirk TV is kind of one-stop shopping. You can check out live stream, instructional videos, or podcast. Okay, so little Q&A here. I made a post earlier today for questions for I guess mainly just for Lea, because Lea hasn't been on the pod here, and so I got a couple here. So the first question is from Corey Elliott. So, question for the episode with Lea: what's your main strategy with mixed doubles, and does it change with different teams you play? Excuse me. Oh yeah. So Lea, if you don't mind, we just played Newport.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we're basing tactics around different teams. It's not always one set play. Obviously, we've practiced a bunch together at home, and we know each other's games pretty well. And so we kind of know what we do well since we've practiced together. So that's kind of, top of the priority is, hey, bring the stuff that we know we can do well, right? Mm-hmm. We know each other's games pretty well, so focus on yourself. And then, so after looking at small picture, then it's more so glancing at big picture, right? Big picture is who are we playing, what are their strengths, where should we put the return, where should we drop or drive, and then what is the gain once we get up. And looking at Newport, my girl to my left here, who was mainly playing on the right at Newport, even though if I was not acting right on the left, she would throw my ass off of the left and she would take the left. But one thing she did well was she's got a great forehand dink. She out-dinked most girls going forehand to forehand. Anytime that wasn't working, we would put Lea in front of the girl. Lea can be a little creative with her feet. She likes to ernie on both sides, but I would say specifically probably more comfortable on the left side ernieing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
I can't do it on the right. I'm learning more, but it's easier on the left.
The forehand, yeah. So anyhow, I think, Lea, if you want to give a little insight, kind of how you look at mixed, how you've been successful. I know you and J-Dub had a sick comeback in one Indy.
Yeah.
And we obviously rolled. We didn't lose the game all freaking day long. Granted, we're playing with the Franklin ball, but I mean, Lea does a lot of things well, and like what she mentioned earlier, is that she's seen recent success in her mixed game, and she feels like her mixed game is getting a lot better. But Lea, I guess kind of looking at your mixed game and general tactics, how do you want to play? How do you feel like you kind of fit in that equation?
Well, you want to. I feel like for me at least, I needed to get to the point where I was comfortable in winning that forehand pattern, because that's just most of the time where I feel like the most successful teams are. You're gonna have to throw up a few different strategies, and also learning how to become more of a threat to the guy in front of me, going behind him sometimes, lobbing sometimes. But it's to me, my main goal in mix is not miss a drop, be super steady in the transition zone, make sure I don't miss a dink, and always be ready to be attacked. And that's kind of the main thing. If you're ready, I feel like, and your hands are ready for the guy to attack you, it can kind of make them change their game plan a little bit more. And
it's funny how if you punch one back really hard against the guy and send a message, generally he doesn't come again. Or if he does come again, he kind of second guesses himself.
And you're taking away the main strategy in mix, which is blow up the girl.
Right.
So that's kind of been the main thing, is just learning how to always be ready and defend all my spots well.
Yep. Always be ready for the fastball, not the change up.
There you go.
Okay. Simple as that. That's actually from that's a quote from Linda Thompson. Linda Thompson. I think if you're always ready for the fastball, not too much can go wrong. But I think why Lea and I played so well in Newport was she was spot on. She didn't miss a drop. She looked good in transition. She defended well. She didn't miss a dink. She sped up when she needed to. And one thing that she does well is with me being on the left, if I drop line or if I drop middle or if I drive middle, drive line or drive cross, she can post. She's got her big two-hander. I think that's such a good play. And for a female that's got a two-hander, if the guy is getting a little isolated on the return and he's seeing most of the third balls and and he's back and he's isolated, if a guy can get a drop or a drive down and the girl can disconnect and get in there and be explosive with her first step, use that two-hander. I know we got a lot of plays. We got a lot of free points there. We also got a lot of free points, just by you out-grinding the girls, going cross. The guys were trying to come at you. You were waving your finger and saying, don't bring that nonsense in this house. But, she looked great all day. She looked great all day. And when she looks good all day, it makes me look even better. So I will gladly accept that.
I like the Franklin ball. Let me tell you guys, I'm a huge advocate for the Franklin.
Yeah,
I might be the only pro that
No.
is.
I like it too. I think if you like to play long, grindy, gutty points,
use your athleticism
and be physical. Freaking the Franklin is your ball.
Yeah,
and it's true. It's true. And and if you like to block a little bit and just be a bit more creative with your hands, then yes, definitely it is the answer. I know when I'm playing BJ, I'd rather go head to head with the Franklin than I would a Dura, that's for sure. Lea, how old or how many sisters do you have?
I have 3 sisters.
3 sisters. Give us their names.
Hannah, Lea, Maya, and Rhea. So me and Maya grew up playing tennis together. My older sister is in the Air Force, and my younger sister goes to Gonzaga.
And plays volleyball.
Yeah,
right. Tell us and tell us about your mother, because your mom was pretty accomplished.
Yeah, so my mom was actually probably the most accomplished of us. She played on the Swiss national volleyball team, and she was an All-American at the University of Oregon for volleyball. So yeah, that's how we wound up in Spokane. She was the coach at Gonzaga. So, and then we just wanted to stay here in the Great P and Dub.
Great P and Dub. How tall is Mom?
She's my height.
Okay.
Yeah, she's about as tall as me. So 5'10".
Okay.
Got some height.
And her name is Ava, right?
Yep, Ava.
Ava. Tell us a little bit about Andy, that hard crusty, or that hard ass who was just extra crusty. And something you should know about Andy is that Andy and my dad, Randy, were like 2 peas in a pot.
They loved each other.
Yeah. It's funny. They didn't have a whole lot in common, but I feel like your dad's friends don't have a whole lot in common with him.
No,
John's a prime example.
No, right. But I think they had a common of where they were just kind of old school and just like hard work, build yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was me and Maya's tennis coach growing up. He was a pretty good athlete himself. He self-taught himself tennis, and I could hardly ever win a game from him ever when he was not injured. But yeah, so he coached pretty much a lot of people within Spokane, and yeah, he was just kind of known as being that hard-ass, no-nonsense, kind of don't want to hear your complaints kind of guy.
Simple as that.
Still like that. So yeah.
Red meat and wine.
Yeah.
Well, he's not drinking wine anymore, correct?
No. No.
And he's cutting out the meat.
Yeah, cutting out the meat and wine. So yeah. So I mean, he's a cool dude, but he's a tough dude. That's for sure.
Kind of.
So I get my game face from him. It's an
right.
Andy face.
Right. And why I say red meat and wine, red meat and red wine, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. It's because I remember growing up and like staying with the Jansens, each summer all throughout high school, and it was the same dinner every night. We would go to Albertsons. Andy'd pick up some meat, get his bottle of wine. get a fresh baguette of bread.
Yeah.
And it was the same meal every night.
Yeah.
It was too funny.
Yeah, they definitely. My dad always went up to visit your dad after we were done, and because he would go hunt in Chelan.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. He would. He'd show up at the restaurant in the morning, have a cup of coffee, have breakfast with my dad, and they'd talk and reminisce and stuff, and then Andy would go hunt for the day. But he's a good man. Okay, so last question here, Lea, was just give us a little insight. I know you've already talked about it, but just refresh the viewers again about your routine and the reset.
Okay, it's just making a figure eight, as I said, to make my left and right brain kind of correlate together, so my brain can effectively bring the message to both sides of my body. Before, my left side was mainly dominated, so the right side of my body couldn't really flow. So just kind of do a figure eight to get that going.
It's all about the flow.
All about the flow.
All about the flow. The instructional nugget that I'm going to chat about, this is actually something that I wrote in the Dinks newsletter. Something to note is that I do a little piece in the Dinks newsletter each week. Thomas Shields does a great job with that newsletter. It's probably one of the most updated and complete newsletters in pickleball. They have a lot of good insight about the PPA. They make sure to highlight a lot of players' content. They have new stuff, new stuff going on. Just a very modern, updated newsletter that goes out every week, and Thomas does a great job. Anyhow,
cool content.
Yeah, there's lots of cool content. But something that I touched on this week was how to differentiate when to punch versus when to block, or maybe when to get out of the way. But I think the first scenario would be if your opponent's driving at you. If you recognize that you're getting beat by the drive, and maybe this is more lower level. If you recognize you're getting beat by the drive, and the drive is just getting on you too quick, and you've tried to punch back and you can't get the punch deep enough, and the punch just results to them having an easier fifth ball to work with, so they can tee off again. If that is taking place, if you're losing to the drive, and I think this is probably more context of lower level, like 3 to 4-0. Maybe using that dump volley or maybe using the block volley is the answer. Something that you also have to consider is if you find that you're trying to punch and it's high and your hands are fumbly, or they don't feel organized, or you feel like your technique is breaking down, you got to ask yourself, is that ball going out? But I would say higher levels, if somebody's driving at you, we're always looking to punch back, put them on their heels. Why? Because we have a huge advantage of getting established first as a returner. So with that being said, it would make sense to want to push them back, put some pressure on them, keep them on their heels. And maybe we can, if they want to drive their third and their fifth, and you recognize that you get that second volley super deep, and they want to drive their seventh and they're on their heels and they're out of position, maybe a great time to then use a block volley. If we're looking at, dinking straight ahead, we're 14 feet away. Something I like to go by is if you see your opponent speed up, if you're comfortable going head to head, if the ball doesn't get on you quick, if you're able to see the ball big and juicy, and plain and simple, if they have a stamp on their forehead and you're more than ready, and the ball is pulsating as it comes at you, that would mean that you were more than ready. So clock that thing back, club it back with some authority. Now on the flip side of that, if you're uncomfortable going head to head, or if your opponent disguises their speed up well, or maybe they don't disguise their speed up well, but simply you just cannot beat them head to head. If you feel like you're cut short on time, if they speed up and find a vulnerable spot on your body that you can't block from, or maybe you like to block more with your backhand and punch with your forehand, in that scenario, I would look to block back. But something that we always have to consider is this ball going out? Because much easier said than done, but you will never know until you let one go. But something I do know is that your opponent will second guess their drive. That offensive person, that banger, that person that likes to play a little faster, will second guess their offense if you have good tracking ability, and if you don't take the bait like a DW and just wake up and love their hands, if you know what I mean. Think about the individual that loves to counterpunch, that lives and dies by the counterpunch, that doesn't speed up a whole lot, and their whole identity is tied around them counterpunching well. That individual does one thing and one thing well. They usually counterpunch, but they never get the hell out of the way. So do not be that person is what I'm trying to say. Do not be that person. Have good tracking ability. Have some variety with your hands. I mean, something that we say is anytime you're looking to be offensive, you should think about the acronym SLY. You should be stable. You should be in a good location, and the ball should be in yellow. Something that you can consider with your punch volley is stable and location. Look to punch if you're stable, and look to punch if you're in a good location. If you're in a bad location, let's say you're in transition and maybe you're not stable, probably a great time to block back. But Lea, what do you think about punching and blocking? Or I guess when do you look to differentiate and do things a little differently? Do you kind of base it around time? Do you base it around like the side that it comes to? I know we've been talking about this a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of like simple, and what you kind of said the other day, if I see it, I'm probably going to swing. If I don't see it, I'm probably going to block. And then there's times, I've had days where I'm just not making them. I'm over swinging if the ball's flying, where I just kind of maybe I'm not liking the head-to-head, and I just kind of regress to blocking.
Nothing wrong with blocking back. Wins a lot of matches.
Yeah, keeping the ball in play does. So it's kind of dependent, but in general, I like to think if I see it, I'm probably going to clock one.
Right. And at the end of the day, too, I mean, everybody puts their socks on the same way. If you just want to surrender and put a lot of balls in play, it wins a lot of matches. This game does not have to be complex, if you know what I mean. There's certain days where I wake up and I want to be the person that just counter punches everything and just clubs every ball back. But that's not me. It's not me. It's not my identity. I know what I am to my core, and I have to have a little variety with my hands. So I think look to punch if you see it. Look to punch if you're comfortable. Look to punch if you want to be a bully. And look to block if you're not comfortable. If you don't see it, maybe they find a spot that makes you feel uncomfortable, or maybe you don't like to punch from one side, backhand or forehand, so it would make sense to want to block from that side. But Lea, any last things any last comments for the viewers here?
No, I mean, I like being on. I'm pretty excited for the next couple months in tournaments. It should be a grind, so I'm always ready for like the next wave of tournaments. So yeah,
for sure. Well, it was a pleasure having Lea here on the on the podcast. I truly appreciate her being in my area.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's rare too.
Yeah, no, it's been
Wichita.
good, and she's playing really well right now. So I'm more than excited to be on her team, on her sideline, coaching her during singles events, and she's got a very bright future. So, and I'm sure I'll have her on the pod again. But this episode is powered by Bemer Therapy, and my name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show. We will see you guys on episode 19.